exhausted. Yeah, my brother, Gracie, thanks for being here, brother. We'll see you soon. Hi, brother.
Okay, what do you think? Do you think they invested? Huh? It's one of the ideas that got the most amount of investment in Shark Tank, right? So you saw how crazy that picture was. I mean, you can't talk like this in a boardroom. That's not what I'm saying. But the power of a story is something that we have underestimated. That's my point here, right? So the question is, how do you tell stories now? Is the question. How do you use stories in your business pitches, in your business speeches? What are the elements that you need to consider is the question. Now, the idea of storytelling comes from conventional storytelling, right? So the structure is the same that the great directors, the great screenwriters use to create movies or write novels. It's only three, right? I'll show you that. Before I show you that, I'll just tell you what it is. It's called three elements. One is called the setup, second conflict, and the third is a resolution. I'll give you a very good example. Now, this particular structure I'm going to talk about is something that has been exhausted. Like, it starts with boy wants to fall in love with a girl, right? That's the setup, right? Conflict. Now, there's a problem that is preventing the boy from getting the girl. Resolution. The story is about, what the boy is doing to get the girl back. You have no idea how this simple structure has created blockbuster movies. One of the biggest movies is Titanic. Have you watched it? Titanic? Yeah? Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Setup, boy wants to get the girl. Who? Kate Winslet. He's in the ship and he wants to meet the girl, right? The conflict, the guy called Cal, I don't know whether you remember Cal, right? He's the one who's preventing Leonardo DiCaprio from meeting or falling in love with her. Resolution. Now somehow Leonardo DiCaprio falls in love with Kate. Now take a movie that I don't know whether you have watched, Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, Shah Rukh Khan's, right? It's the same structure, right? Boy wants girl, but there's a problem preventing the boy from getting the girl, right? And then finally Shah Rukh Khan gets Kajol. That's the resolution. So this is what you apply to business pitches as well, but the content is what changes. We'll look at it. Okay. Let's take an idea that you all know of, right? Something that all of us can relate to. Let's take this one. This pitch, right? Setup, conflict, resolution. I'll give you an example. I'll give you the example. The setup was, right, that the setup means this, right? The current situation, your product or service or idea will be addressing. That is what it means. So what is the current situation his idea is addressing or product addressing? You saw how he spoke about going to the park, right? And the hoodie falls into the wet grass. That is the current situation. Something that all of us commonly face. Like, we wear, in Sri Lanka we don't, right? But if you wear a jacket and go into a park and if you tie it along your neck, it's going to fall down, it's going to get wet, right? That's the situation. That's the setup. That's how things start. And the conflict, the problems that the existing products are not yet addressing. So he capitalized on that. So if it gets wet, what do you do now? You have to, tie it along your waist, or you have to carry it in your hand, especially if you're going with a son. That's what he said. It's going to be very difficult, right? So that's the problem that the current the current products are not addressing. So resolution, how is he going to resolve the problem? He came up with a very simple idea, just easy, just roll it and pack it and put it as wear it as a backpack. It seems like a very simple concept, but he's earning millions by selling that now in the market. So the simple structure he used was setup, conflict, resolution. Now pick me for example. Pick me, right? Pick me. It was not there earlier, although the need was there. The need was there, right? Can someone tell me the setup here? The situation, the idea or that product was addressing. What was the situation Pick me was addressing? Think about the situation Pick me was not there. පාරට ගිහිල්ලා වීල් එක නවත්තලා negotiate කරලා එහෙමනේ අපේ ජීවිතේ තිබෙන්නේ. So what was the situation Pick me was addressing?
Get a hassle-free solution.
But the solution, that's a solution. That's a solution. But what was the situation they were addressing? There was a situation before Pick me, right? When you went to the streets or when you went to a taxi stand, there was a situation before Pick me. ඒ මොකද්ද?
We want a reliable transportation.
Yeah, okay. But why? Why did they want? What was the situation that demanded people to expect or want reliable? What was the situation that was leading to it? We had to go to the streets, right? Okay, let's write it down, right? We had to physically go right to the street or taxi stand, right? What else? Okay, right. Negotiating prices කියන්නේ the control was with the driver, right? Let's say unregulated. There was no regulation, so they can say any price. If they were a taxi and නැත්තම් කෙලිම monopoly. කියන රෑ 11ට ආවා ටැක්සි යන්න එකයි තියෙන්නේ, right? එයා කියන ගානට යන්න ඕන අපි, right? So it was unregulated. So it was kind of a monopoly, right? Because it was unregulated, let's say it was leading to a monopoly in certain places as well. What else was the current situation, na? What was the current situation?
Safety and accountability.
Right, okay. Let's put the current situation into context. Let's say if you're looking for a taxi at night, it was, you had no proper legitimate no documentation or evidence whether you can trust that person, right? So whether you can trust was a huge question. Okay, right. Any other? Okay, I think that's enough. Let's move to the next one. So what was the problem? Right?
And I know,
The existing, yeah?
yeah, if you attention, we all look on the rider side.
Yeah.
On the driver side also, there's a huge vacuum for part-time job, which is flexible at any time. Rider can do, a driver can do.
Okay. Right. So how do you come back and tell me that was the current situation? Before Pick Me?
Like people are searching for a part-time job.
Okay.
So there's no opportunity.
Right. Okay. Right. That's a good one. Okay. Right. So once again, it was monopoly, right? Okay.
There's a demand and there should be a supply also. Right?
Yeah. So how do we phrase it? People could not enter the market easily. එකනේ ප්‍රශ්නේ? A rider who wanted to enter the market could not enter easily.
There was a restriction even in the park. They have a limited space to take the park. So then they have an advantage and a room. Then they can register to the machine and come to the business.
Yeah. So the situation was people who wanted to enter the tuk-tuk market could not enter it easily because it was a monopoly. Right? People who wanted to enter into the market could not enter easily. Right? There was a lot of thuggery, right? There was a lot of challenges, right?
It's not respectful, being in a roadside to find a right.
Right. Okay. People could not enter the tuk-tuk market easily. Right. So the problem, right? Now let's say, how can you phrase this as a problem now? Now you have to physically go to the street. What is the problem? It consumes a lot of time. Right? You have to go to the street, it consumes a lot of time, energy, right? So wastage, once again, right? Unregulated, monopoly, which means you have to go through a lot of stress as a passenger sometimes. Yeah? Sometimes බැහැලා ඒ කට්ටිය කියනවා ගාන. මෙච්චරයි කතා කරේ නමුත් මට පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩියෙන් දෙන්න. Right? දුන්නේ නැත්තම් කචල්. Right? So there's a lot of stress as well we had to go through in terms of, right? So trust was a huge problem. So we can talk about the problems that might arise as a result of that. So there's a possibility that you can get a
From business perspective, they supply and demand.
Okay, so that's a solution, right?
Yeah, but then that was there. Because riders do not know where the passengers will be.
Okay, right.
And vice versa.
Vice versa, right. How can you phrase that?
It's called a platform. It's called a platform. That concept is called a platform.
Platform, right, okay. So there was no platform where we could meet, where the supplier and customer could meet, right? No platform. Right, okay. So people could not enter the tuk-tuk market. Once again, you see the problem there, right? The problem is that, if you want to create a new income mechanism, there was no possibility for you to easily get into the tuk-tuk market and make money out of it, right? So no platform. Once again, the problem is it was very difficult for both the consumer and the supplier to make business easily, right? So the resolution, how does your product or idea resolve this conflict? You have to physically go to the street? Now no, right? All you need is an app. You can sit anywhere you want, right? Work, home, cafe, you can order. Unregulated, monopoly, now is regulated. The customer knows how much they're exactly paying, right? Trust was resolved as well, to a large extent, right? Not 100%, because there are people who come with numbers that they have not registered with PickMe, but it was resolved to a large extent. You know who you are going to, and you can also give stars, which means people will be reluctant to give their ID to another person. People could enter the market pretty easily, the tuk-tuk market now. And there's a common platform where all of us could meet. So you see how the setup, conflict, and resolution are meeting in an idea? Yeah? Now your challenge is to create a story. Now unfortunately, we can't do how to tell a story in this session because this is only 1 hour, right? Now how to tell a story is a lot. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But we're going to do an exercise. Okay? We're going to do an exercise. And I want you to participate in this. All right? So should we quickly divide you into groups? Is that a good idea? Oh, nanny. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video, right? Another Shark Tank pitch. It's a brilliant pitch, right? One of the pitches that I love the most. So now watch this, listen to this pitch very carefully. And tell us what was the setup, what was the conflict, and what was the resolution. All right? Okay.
First into the tank is an eco-friendly version of a household staple.
packaging, and a ton of water. This is such a waste, which is why we created our revolutionary eco-friendly brand, Blueland, where we've turned this into this. So now your pantry can look like this.
How does it work? Simply fill your bottle with water, drop in a tablet. Minutes later, you're ready to get cleaning.
And our tablets come with a beautiful reusable forever bottle, so you never have to throw away another plastic cleaning bottle ever again. Together, we can eliminate approximately 5 billion plastic cleaning bottles each year. So sharks, let's save money and space without the plastic waste.
Fair.
We have samples to pass out.
So please get the next one. Yep. Okay, and take a tablet.
Do you have anything with packaging?
Yes, we have a wrap tablet as well. I can bring around more.
Is it one product cleans all windows and surfaces, or are there multiple products, multiple tablets?
Yes.
So now they're going to give the numbers, right? So like I told you, numbers are important. So storytelling gives you the emotional push, right? Helps you solidify your intuition, that gut feeling. Datas help you rationalize your decision. Okay, now they're coming with the numbers. We'll talk about that some other time. Now tell me, if you listen to that very carefully, what was the setup, conflict, and resolution?
Of course,
Yeah.
the current state, how what kind of products people is to clean and stuff.
Yeah, so the average, so he opened the cupboard, like average number of plastic products that a household uses in cleaning. That was a setup, right? Okay. Again, while I'll just add to that, again, a current situation. This is the current situation in US. An average household, I don't know whether you noticed why that was important. Because when the data is small, it's easier for us to fit it in. And then we can apply it to the whole, like average household, right? Imagine the entire United States of America, right? It's going to be a lot. So that was a very wise move, right? One household. Numbers PowerPoint, but this is more effective, right? Yeah.
The project was they had like so many products for cleaning.
Yes.
So they
Okay.
were saying,
So they say it very clearly, it's such a waste. That was the conflict, right? So they are pitching a very eco-friendly version, brilliant strategy, right? So it's such a wastage. Look at the harm that you are doing to the environment. Within 90 seconds they said it. Yeah?
so they said people are just mainly paid for the water and the packaging.
Yeah.
So to resolve that, we just sell a tablet to get your ordinary water and ordinary packaging.
One tablet, right? And one bottle resolves the conflict. Now you don't have to use plastic bottles over and over again. One bottle, right, and one tablet, right? So if you look at the pitch, you will see how they give the numbers and how they answer the questions as well, right? So you have to prepare. You have to be prepared with that. Numbers are very important. Okay, so I'm not saying storytelling is what we have to do. No, storytelling is crucial because it will help the audience rationalize the numbers you are giving them, like in Dhammika's and Sajivika's example. Is that clear? Right? Okay. So, setup, conflict, resolution is the structure of any story that you want to tell. But like I told you, how to tell a story is for another day. How do you write a setup? How do you write a conflict? How do you write a resolution? Right? And that too within a specific time, because there are several kinds of pitches. There's an elevator pitch. Have you heard of it? 15 seconds. You only have 15 seconds for elevator pitch, right? So these kinds of pitches, they have only 90 seconds, right? So how do you write this story within these time frames is a different question. We have to talk about that, on a different day. But this is the structure that I want you to remember. And most importantly, I want to remember, let's go back to where we started. Data is not the one that will sell your idea. It is not the one that will sell your idea, right? It will help them rationalize the story that you're bringing in. So, like, for example, if in your organization, if you have two clients, if you have a client and two organizations, right? Mobitel and your competitor goes to pitch this client, and both of you go with data, and your competitor goes with a story, and the chances are they're going to sign up with the other person, because as humans, we are moved by stories, right? It's stories that move us. Data doesn't move us. Data එක දැකලා අපි කවදාවත් අඬලා නැහැනේ. Data එක දැකලා කවදාවත් අපි අඬලා නැහැ. Right? We cry listening to stories. We are emotionally moved by listening to stories, something that data and numbers can never do. Right? So that is the power of storytelling. So let's remember that in your upcoming pitches. So if you have any questions, now's the time.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding this conflict.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on the resolution we are going to introduce. Say we are coming up with a groundbreaking resolution.
Okay.
So it's never had in the market.
Okay.
So is there a conflict for that?
There has to be a conflict, no? You can't have a resolution without a conflict. එහෙම තියෙනවා නම් මට උදාහරණයක් දෙන්න.
Is there a conflict for the people?
Yeah, what is the conflict for the picnic? මේක තියෙන්නේ. අපි කිව්වේ මේක conflict.
No, that's set up.
No. Yeah, setup. This is setup. Setup එකෙන් conflicts එනවනේ. I'll give you an example, right? So we had to physically go. ඒක setup එකනේ. Current situation, right? So the problem is, it wastes your time. It wastes your energy. Yeah? So see, we had to physically go. Now when you think about it, that's the conflict, no? You have to go to that place physically. Now trust was, lack of trust was the setup. The conflict, see, you could be abducted. You can bring data to support that. Last year alone, right, because of unregulated tuk-tuk transport, these many incidents have happened. It has happened, no? We have read in the news. So that's the problem, right? Trust is a situation, so you come up with a problem. You understand?
For me, the conflict is existing tuk-tuks, right? It's in the roadside. That's the conflict.
Tell me again.
No, for the pygmy scenario, for me now I get understood like the conflict is existing system. That because
it is
existing system.
Yeah,
that is the barrier.
It is coming from the existing system. It is coming from the existing system.
That's a conflict, right?
Yes, that is it. Yeah, the existing system itself is not the conflict, right? අපිට මෙහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන්. දෙකම එකට දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. දෙකම වෙන් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපි දැන් වෙන් කරා දෙකම. For example, අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්, we had to physically go to the street and that makes us tired, right? And that takes a lot of time. Now the setup and conflict are put together. Now what we did was, for learning purposes, we separated the setup and conflict. You're right. Existing situation again, my conflict again, it comes from the existing situation, but there is no resolution without a conflict. There has to be a conflict for you to come up with a resolution. Because think about, even Steve Jobs. For us, there was no conflict, but he created a conflict. That's why he's such a genius, right? That's why I said, it can be discussed as an ethical problem as well. You created a new problem and now you're selling your product. The problem he created was, listen, no, you're using this phone and it's so difficult. So if you look at the graph, I don't know, if you look at the iPhone launch, he creates a graph and places iPhone at the point where it says it's smart and easy to use, right? All the other devices are somewhere along here, difficult to use, not so smart. So he made it look like smartphone is the future. So he created a conflict that we could not see and he brought in his own solution for it. So there can't be a resolution without a conflict. if there is not a conflict, you have to create one, like Steve Jobs.
And the unique thing is, because Steve Jobs, he had the blueprint.
Rocky had the blue, yeah,
And he had that
yeah,
story to bring it to the mass.
yes, and also this, what do you call the camera people? Kodak, right? Even they had the blueprint for digital, right? The engineer was there, but they didn't move forward with that. So any questions? No question. Huh?
Apart from going through this setup,
Yeah.
so nice. Don't you have to gauge the audience or the sharks?
That's how they gauge it. Okay, that's a very good question. It's a very good question. You see, when you're pitching to a group of sharks, whether you're pitching to a group of sharks or not, what is the most important commodity you have? What is the most important commodity you have right now? What is the most important commodity you have? Time. You lose time, you can't take it, right? So the sharks sitting there, right? Time is absolutely vital for them. So you can't tell stories with a once upon a time kind of appealing beginning. No, that's not what they're expecting. What they're expecting is, tell me, what you're doing, why you're doing, and why I need to invest in 90 seconds. That's it. That's what they need to hear. But that has to be put into a story structure, right? So what you're talking about is an opening and closing. How do you open the speech and the structure? That's what you're talking about, right?
Most people have preferences, right? What they like.
What they like.
What they like, what they don't like.
See, that's not what they are here for. That is why you should know the audience. The sharks are not here to listen, okay, is this person going to impress me by telling me what I like? No. Is this person going to impress me by showing me that they have done the research about me and they know what I know, right? That's not. Think of yourself as an investor. Is that what you're going to think while sitting there? Or are you going to think, okay, what is the product this person has, and how does this appeal to me, and how can I make an informed decision to whether to invest or not? That is the question you have as an investor. Because they are there to invest their money and make a profit out of it. So stories are important, but you should also know what stories not to tell. Yeah? You have to know what stories not to tell as well. So, I mean, that's a very important question. But we need to know about that, right? There are some stories we should say, there are some stories we should not tell as well, because that means we're going to waste their time. That will be counter-effective. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any other questions?
Is that the only reason not to telling the story? That waste time? The only reason, sir?
Not-
the reason not to telling the story?
Not to tell the story. What I meant was what stories to tell, right? When you're giving a speech or when you're pitching to someone, there are always multiple stories. I'll give you a good example. So he said in the setup, he said, in the last example, you saw that they were opening the cupboard and they were pushing things out, right? To show how much an average household uses. So they also had another story to tell while doing that. The other story was they could have put the numbers on PowerPoint, right? And said, in a day, the entire American population uses this much in plastic products. That is also true. That is also true. But that story wouldn't have been relatable. Like, how do you put all these numbers together in my head is a question. But when you say one average household uses this much, now every single person sitting there can relate that to their household. Right? So every time you are telling a story, there is also another story that is untold, right? So as a storyteller, you have the option of whether to choose this or not that. Now that comes as a result of knowing how to tell stories. Does that make sense? Okay, right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we spoke about the three stages in terms of conflict.
Set up conflict resolution.
So we can reach that should be drive the emotional triggers in terms of we need to focus more on the setup part in the easy life. Talk about the emotional.
Yeah, conflict. Conflict is where you should plant the emotions, right? Because conflict is the hook. Conflict is not story ka nahi. That's as simple as it gets, right? Huh? Conflict, yes, conflict takes the larger chunk of the cake. Because without a conflict, you don't have a story. Without a conflict, you're not going to watch a movie, right? Without a conflict, you're not going to read a book. Okay? So think of any great movie that you have watched, Majan, and take the conflict out of it. Right? Any great movie you've watched and take the conflict out of it. Now, there's no, I mean, there's no appeal for you to watch that movie. So conflict is where you should land your emotions. It does not have to be, grief, right? Or pain. It can also be something that is rejuvenating, right? Depending on the story you want to tell. Yeah.
It's like you're thinking of Robin Hood without Sheriff and.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, Sheriff and Gisborne. Yeah, there's no story there. Any other questions? Silence is awkward, no? If you don't have any questions, let's wrap up. Yeah. Okay. Pramod again. We'll wrap up. Yeah. Okay.
Am I interrupting or else are we having any questions here? Okay, so thanks a lot, Faris.
My pleasure.
Coming all the way from Candy to give this session, to have this session. So thanks a lot. And I just want to mention we are having our Chief Officer, Supply Chain Management, Mr. Santagomi. So he will be speaking a few words
Right.
to the audience.
You are going to talk. Since we embrace into in front of Cosmos, right? So anyway, my apologies for this that I just doing at the
No worries.
end of the
That's fine. No problem.
session.
Yeah.
But so I would like to thank for your presence. I heard that you came all the way from Candy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you very much again.
My pleasure.
Giving this kind of talk. So our sector, Toastmaster, we have a history that there are leaders that we have created from Mobitel community in the Toastmasters Club. So as Mobitel management, we are keen on developing this kind of soft skills, especially among the Mobitel staff. So we have been doing this Toastmaster movement for over 10 years period that we have been doing, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah. So there are lots of Toastmasters in the regional district, and we have
Right.
created Paris. And our creative space also been an initiative that within the Mobitel to
Right.
co-culture this innovation and co-creation environment within the organization. This must this kind of organization. So once again, that I believe that brought a new insight to the team, and the young team actually they are the future of this organization. So the time invite industry resource
Right.
people from different aspects to talk to our team. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and I wish
thank our team also for arranging this stuff, this kind of session.
Right, okay.
today.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So the organization should be, I don't know. I'm not sure actually. Yeah.
Thank you
So,
very much.
This from Mobitel.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I think Mobitel, you should also be here. Organizer. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
I would like to invite senior management team also to join.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noshad. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
We'll
Thank you.
take a group photo and send it to maybe. Can you come in?
Yeah, come.